Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with what I'm thinking we're just going to call a news update. I don't even know. But this is kind of like driving me crazy. I'm like a really big Who fan, and I don't usually rant. I mean, I guess I've done a couple, but I'm like a really big Who fan, so if like anybody who's been paying any attention to anything that's been going on with the Who, there's a bunch of news outlets that are reporting that Zak was kicked out of the band, and it's like kind of driving me nuts because I'll do my best presidential impersonation here. Fake news. Fake. That's why nobody watches you anymore, because you are fake news. As terrible as that was, this is not political, so don't make any political comments. It's just a terrible impersonation. That's all that was. But yeah, he's not kicked out. Pete Townshend actually finally made a statement because I guess they were kind of getting sick of everything that was going on with the news outlets reporting that they kicked him out. I mean, there was some stuff that happened. People were reading into it, making up their own stories, and Zak made a post that was actually really not written well. Bad wording, bad grammar, and not really worded in the proper way, so that didn't help either. But anyway, people just kind of filled in the blanks, and it was wrong. So Pete made a statement today. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it said, newsflash, Who backs Zak? It said he's not being asked to step down from the Who. So that's the first thing he says. And it says there have been some communication issues, personal, private, on all sides, that need to be dealt with, and these have all been aired happily. So that being said, they figured it out. He said it's kind of a longer statement, but it basically says that him and Roger talked to Zak about tightening up his evolving drumming style to accommodate their non-orchestral lineup. And they go on to say that there was some stuff that happened. They didn't practice enough for the Royal. I'm trying to read it and talk at the same time here, but Royal Albert Hall, gig that they did, they didn't practice enough for it, and he had some knee replacement, and he could barely think correctly, and didn't practice for all this. He goes on to say, and then they were using in-ear monitors, and that's another thing that drives me nuts. They're trying to say that Roger was blaming Zak for drumming too much. No, it just drives me crazy. It's like, obviously he was wearing in-ear monitors. He's not mad at Zak for the drums being too loud. This guy's done this his entire life. He knows how monitors and mixing works. He knows it's not that Zak is drumming too loud. He was saying that that's all I could hear in his in-ear monitors because they were mixing them too loud in his in-ear monitors. Those covering up the rest of the music. So, you can't blame the drummer for that happening. I doubt highly that was what was happening. I don't know, but anyway, and he just wants to say that there was, the rumors about Scott DeVours taking over, which was Roger's solo band's drummer, not true, and they apologized to him for all of this, and this was dated from Pete Townshend, April 19th, so he's not leaving, which is good, fine with me. I've seen The Who several times in my life. Actually, my first live experience with Who was in 1982. Didn't see them, but they were broadcasting, the Maple Leaf Gardens gig live over the radio, and I was a little kid. I was actually recording it. I don't remember exactly how old I was then. I guess I would have been 13, and I was recording it, and they blew me away, just hearing that live, and I listened to that tape over and over and over and over and over, and when I finally got to see them later on, obviously that was with Kenny Jones playing drums. I didn't get to see them live until Simon Phillips was playing drums with them, and then I have seen them with Zak 3 times since then. So, I've seen Zak several times, and I've listened to multiple bootlegs of The Who over the years with the 4 main drummers that they've had. There's been a couple other people here and there that have played with them before Keith and then filled in spots, just live stuff. But the 4 main guys, I've heard all those bootlegs, and they all have different styles. They all make the Who sound completely different from each other. The drummer adds, I hate when people say just the drummer. That actually drives me insane because the drummer adds so much to the sound of a band. Every person in the band does, you know, especially in the Who. You change one person in that band, and it changes the whole dynamic. Especially, you know, there's only 2 of the guys left now, and it's definitely a lot different than back in the day. But Zak's style is, you know, very similar to Keith's. Keith was actually the one who taught him how to play, and I guess there's people that don't know that, but that's why he plays in a similar style. Obviously, Zak has his own style. I don't think he sounds like Keith, but he has that same free spirit. Keith was actually very orchestral in his drum playing, whereas Zak, I feel, is just very freestyle. And over the countless times I've heard Zak, there's times that the very first time I saw him, he blew me away. He was insanely good and tight. He's gotten a little bit looser over the years with his playing. He's decided to do his own thing here and there. Sometimes he's spot on, other times not so much. But in all fairness, I can say the same for Pete. There's times he's like on fire, and I've heard him times where it's just off nights. And I guess the Royal Albert Hall was an off night. I saw them actually with the orchestral setup here a few years ago, and the first overture was, everything was out of whack. Like the whole intro to that whole concert was off. The band was not in time with the orchestra. It sounded chaotic. It was actually quite horrible. Then they got it together, and the rest of the show was insane, and it was great. But it just happens. So anyway, all things are good on the camp. I think that he's been with him almost 20 years now. It's actually almost 30 years now, isn't it? Yeah, almost 30 years now. Holy cow. Math is a little off there. So, holy cow, he's been with him forever. He's got to be family at this point. So, that's a long time for just a regular band to be together, let alone be the new guy. Almost a new guy, I mean, since, John is not with him anymore, but, the newest drummer anyway. But anyway, he's still with them. I hope these places stop reporting that he's gone and making up all this stuff. I mean, whatever they do, they got to sell, or get clicks or whatever to sell advertising or whatever they got to do. They're doing it. It kind of drives me nuts. It's kind of sad that we live in an era where people have to sensationalize everything and put stuff out there that isn't right and make up their own stuff. But anyway, I babbled a really long time. Didn't plan it being this long, but just had to get that out there. So I guess I'm supposed to always ask to like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive is what I always say. I don't know. This doesn't quite fit in this one because they're not doing anything, but I would love to catch these guys one more time. Hopefully I can do it. And until then, we will see you.